Just like roasting marshmallows. I love electricity when it's used in the right way. Welcome to DynaVap Live. We have an electromagnetic episode today, and I thought we would start with the introduction of the official DynaVap plasma heater. This is a really cool thing we've been working on for about 2 weeks, and it's available for sale on our website right now for about $500. Or maybe it's $1,000, or maybe I'm full of it and we're just kind of having some fun. So maybe we should get into the actual episode, Josh.
Sounds good, George. And so we want to thank you all for tuning in. We're actually going to be doing some shout outs, and I didn't introduce myself already. I'm Retail Josh. I want to thank Paul from the UK for tuning in, Rhiannon Foley from Ontario, Canada, got one from Michigan, Sanja from Croatia, Altered Disposition from Oklahoma, Patrick from Boston, Tomas from the Czech Republic, Jason from Albuquerque, and we got one from Houston. We want to thank you all for tuning in, especially for those of you who've had to get up extremely early or stay up extremely late. We really appreciate that support. If you're just first tuning in, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so that way you're notified when we release more content. That way you don't miss cool stuff like that with this cool new plasma heater here. When you ring and subscribe, you never miss any of that content. And we're just about at 9,500 subscribers. We would really love to hit 10,000 subscribers really soon, and we'd love your assistance with that. So if you can do that, we'd really appreciate it. And we're going to be doing a giveaway when we hit that mark for one of these awesome glass pieces that Chris Casey from Compliant Technology made for us for the new Hydrovong.
It's a big deal for us, you know, to get to 10,000 subscribers.
It's a huge milestone. It's a huge milestone. And we also want to thank the different forums out there. The Dynaverse in its entirety, the FC forum, Vapor Ents, the DynaVap subreddit, all the different retailers out there that help get our product into the world. And we love hearing those suggestions. If you have a good idea or want us to know something, use that contact form on the website. We love seeing that. That's what allows us to innovate and continue to grow and make you guys happy. So be sure to do that. And if you're already sharing the Dynaverse with your friends and family, consider joining our affiliate program. To do that, all you need to do is just email affiliate@dynavap.com for more information. Once you do that, we'll get back to you and we'll get you all set up. And since you kind of already know what we're going to be discussing for the week, we're going to jump right into a segment that we like to call The Snap. Welcome to The Snap. This is a segment where we answer frequently asked questions in a very rapid fire format. So let's get right into it. On this week's episode of The Snap, we are going to be discussing how to set up and use your brand new Apollo Induction Heater from Lucid Customs. It is a plug-in unit, and so the first step you need to do, plug it into the wall. If you are an international customer, you'll need to have an adapter unit or a converter for it to work properly. You'll just need to push this little red button at the back, press that in, and you'll get this nice little green light to let you know that power is being sent to the device and it is working properly. At that point, you take your loaded VAP cap, whether it be titanium tip or stainless tip, whichever one you have, drop it in. You'll notice some red lights there letting you know that it is heating as it should, and then in a second, you'll get a click. Remove the device after you hear the click, and as always, please wait for the cool down click before you heat again. And that has been The Snap. I'm Retail Josh, and thanks for watching.
All right, welcome back. I'd like to introduce Chris Bailey here. He's here to show off the new induction heater that we're bringing to market. It's the Apollo Induction Heater. So made by Lucid Customs. Yep. It's really nice of you to come all the way up from Kentucky. The induction heater capital of the world?
Of the world, yes.
The world, right.
Yeah.
Or is it of the Dynaverse?
Exactly.
So we've got some really exciting things to talk about. We're going to show everyone how it works live. You already saw it on the Snap, as well as talk about who you are, where you came from, how you made it, and why your device.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, Chris, why don't you talk a little bit about who you are, where you came from, and how you got into making induction heaters of all things.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, George, and it's great to be here with all of you all as well. I got started with the DynaVap back in 2017. I bought my first M. I've added many to the collection since then. But I started noticing around that time people using induction heaters through different Reddit posts, and I thought, wow, this is pretty fascinating. I bet I can make a really cool looking enclosure for this. So I got to work on the laser cutter, designed a few things, and posted what I'd come up with. And based off of that, I had like 20 people reach out saying, please, will you make one for me? And since that time, this is all that I've been focused on, is making induction heaters for DynaVap products.
Just making induction heaters. Okay, very cool. So you've been making induction heaters. You've been utilizing just a lot of the available components for them. But the Apollo's different, right? And so let's talk a little bit about what's different about it and why.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first started making this, I just grabbed one of the parts lists that you'll see from some of the online components that you can buy. But what I found is that the quality on those were often quite poor. They were prone to failure, and just there was no batch quality that really lives up to what I prefer.
Okay.
So with the Apollo, I really want to take a different approach and focus on re-engineering something from the ground up specifically for the DynaVap with American assembled and American engineered.
Okay. And so down in your lab,
Yes.
you designed, engineered, and now are, with your team, assembling these really cool devices.
Yes.
And now they're available on our website. So for those of you that are looking for an induction heater, that's going to be a good quality induction heater that should last a long time with two solid companies that are going to stand behind making sure that it's going to give you the performance that you're looking for. It's now available. So check it out. And we're going to get into a little bit more of the details.
Yeah.
So you say it's custom engineered, doesn't use a lot of the off-the-shelf components. Would you like to get into more details on that, Chris?
You want to take a look at it, George?
I think it'd be great. You know, let's look into it more closely and maybe share that with everyone else out there. Because I think it's really cool when someone takes the initiative to go after taking a good idea and making it a lot better. Thank
you. Yeah. And so what we're looking at here is a custom engineered ZVS induction heater circuit. It's pretty standard in its components. Really what I wanted to do with this device was focus on making a custom heater that was of the highest quality and really just worked. It was tuned perfectly and was reliable.
And why does that matter? I mean, let's talk a little bit more about induction. You say tuned. When I think about tuned, I'm thinking like a radio or like an old school TV, or maybe a tuning fork. What's really going on in the induction heater?
Oh man, there is all kinds of physics happening. Effectively what's happening is it's basically sending electrical currents through this coil.
Okay.
And it's magnetizing and shifting that magnetic current around inside of the metal.
Okay.
And heating it up. That causes the electrons to get excited, and it heats it up quite quickly. Quite quickly.
And the coil itself, if I were to power this up right here, and I were to touch my finger on this coil, this doesn't get very hot, does it?
No, it really doesn't, especially when there's a load in there. Sometimes if there's no load, so if you're building one at home and you find that there's no load in it, the coil will start to get hot because of the electricity flowing through it.
Right.
But when you're just using this as a heater for the DynaVap, it's not going to get hot at all. And in fact, I don't recommend this at all, but you can stick your finger in there. It doesn't heat anything except for like conductive metals.
Conductive materials, right.
Yeah.
Because it's relying on the induced current that the collapsing electromagnetic field from the coil is producing in the conductive materials that are placed inside the coil. Does that sound about right?
Eddy currents are magical things.
Oh, they're so cool. And so, again, when we're talking about tuned, the frequency that this coil is resonating at is actually really, really important. And in order to get it to resonate correctly, we need to make sure that we've got the right components, and those components need to be assembled on a board in the right fashion to balance everything out.
Absolutely. And then the coil factors into that as well. Your coil size, the number of windings, the structure, Even the height of the coil is something I spent a long time really trying to figure out exactly what the right height is to make sure that this doesn't combust on you, right? That's not what we want to have. So I spent a lot of time tuning that. And in fact, I'll share with you, I tuned it on what I would consider to be a bit of the lighter side.
Okay.
So the first click you use on this, you may not really notice a lot of vapor.
Okay.
And that's really just, it's warming up. But if you do back-to-back clicks, you're going to see a lot of vapor.
Okay. But that really has a lot to do with the physics of the VAP cap itself.
Yes.
It just takes a little while for the metal all around to get up to temperature. We kind of call it heat soak.
Yeah.
So that initial heat up, even when using a torch, especially a high output torch like a triple or a quad torch, cap's going to click real quick. But the actual extraction chamber is not really up to optimum vaporization chamber temperatures. So not any different than a high output torch. It's good to utilize this kind of incrementally, if that's what you like. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I tell a lot of my customers is, if they want it to hit a little bit harder
Right.
for them, it's okay to leave it in there about a second or two after the click.
Okay.
And I find a lot of people really they come to find what works best for them, and then it just kind of becomes habit.
So let's just turn this one on quick.
Yeah.
If we can kind of shift over here. So little red button on the back. Give it a push. Nice little glass heating chamber, turns green, and it's literally as simple as placing the device in and applying a light pressure until we feel the switch go, and it should heat right up.
Yeah. Whenever it's heating, you're going to notice the red
There.
light on
And
there.
I got the
Yep.
click there, and I see you've got a nice little magnet right there on the lid, so we can cool it down quickly, and we can just create almost like a little miniature DynaVap heating station.
So, George, can I show you something?
Please.
I want to point out an important safety feature,
Great.
in my opinion. There's a timeout circuit on this.
Well, there is.
There is. So let's say
Oh, it just clicked.
it clicked, but are you okay if I go past the click?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to go past the click. Don't do this. But if something were to happen, if it got stuck in there. So what happened is, after 15 seconds, the heater said, nope, I'm done heating. Let's shut off. This doesn't seem like what you're wanting to do anymore. After that, it's ready to use again.
Okay. So I think that's a really important thing to focus on here for a few minutes, because a lot of the do-it-yourself induction heater kits made with a lot of the available off-the-shelf components, yes, they work.
Yeah.
And they can actually work rather well.
Sure.
But they don't tend to have a lot of the additional thought and effort put into making the device not only function well, not only tuning it correctly, but also building in some safety features to make sure that it's not going to overheat or cause any other undesirable operation.
Yep. Yeah, and that goes back to, we really put a lot of thought into this. And in addition to the timeout circuit, we also built in 2 different automatically resettable fuses. If something weird was
Nice.
to happen and there was an overcurrent situation,
Okay.
it's going to cut off power until it's ready to start back up again.
So multiple safety features built into the device just to keep it under good operating conditions and minimize the likelihood of anything, we'll say, negative occurring.
Right.
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 Okay. Very cool. It's really fascinating to me. So all of a sudden one day you just decided that, you know what, I'm going to not only build custom enclosures for induction heaters, but I'm going to get engaged in actually designing the circuitry and making my own. That's pretty awesome.
It's been a fun process for sure.
Okay. So I think it might be good to get on to a few other things. I see we need to talk a little bit about giving one of these away, don't you think?
Yeah, you think we should give one away?
I think we should give one away.
Okay.
So
Let's see.
looks like we've already selected someone that has made a
Okay.
good comment.
All right.
So it looks like Rhiannon Foley. So you just need to get in touch with Coley. It's Coley@DynaVap.com. We'll throw that up in the chat so you can see exactly what that is. just send an email to Coley and with all your contact information. We'll verify that and get it shipped out to you right away. Just we're excited to send it out. That's pretty cool. Looks like we've got a few questions that we can answer as well. So maybe we'll kind of get right into that. I see, is there a battery version? And I think I'll kind of start on that, but I'd like you to kind of finish up with this, Chris. At this point, the Apollo is a plug-in design only. And I think the big part of the reason why that is because you wanted to start with something that's extremely simple, reliable, and robust, and wanted to eliminate the issues that batteries tend to have. Or help me out. You know, why exactly is this a non-battery powered version?
Sure. Battery design, and especially battery protection, is incredibly important. These things, they need a lot of current. And you can't get that out of a little 9-volt battery, unfortunately. I really wish you could. You need lithium batteries, and lithium batteries are something you just have to be very, very careful with. And so we really want to take the time to make sure that we design the right battery circuit.
So battery management's really important.
It really is. Overcurrent, undercurrent, and you know, we've been selling battery models on our website for a while, and it's all been great. But we're not using our own modules yet, which is something that I really want to get to in the future.
So it's something that's coming, just not at this point. Primary focus needs to be, let's make sure we're providing a good, solid, well-engineered, very durable device that's just simply going to work.
Absolutely.
And, you know, have the lowest likelihood for problems while we continue working on better technology and making sure that when we finally do make that leap into batteries that it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
That sound good?
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
All right. I see another question here. Said, did DynaVap stop working on their own induction heater? Well, you know, I'm glad you asked. And the answer is no, not at all. In fact, I've got one right here. It looks very similar to what you may have seen in some of the previous episodes where we showed a little bit about it. We're continuing work on it. We're continuing to progress on it. And for some of the reasons that Chris just mentioned regarding batteries, since the model that we were working on was intended to be battery powered, the battery management system is a big deal. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of focus. And we want to make sure, just like Chris, that when our heater is ready for release, which is not going to be in a month, but it could be as soon as the end of the year, and that's still to be determined yet. So please, you know, bear with us in that regard. It's going to be a while, but hopefully it'll be exactly what we're looking for. And if it isn't, well, then it's not going to be available, because the last thing that we want to do is sell products that we don't 100% wholeheartedly believe in.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you and I can both agree on, that if it's not good, we don't want to sell it.
Yeah, and it's so easy to, you know, think that you can put together a one-off prototype or something, right? And something that
And sometimes
works.
it actually is easy to put together a prototype
Sure.
or 2 or 3.
Sure.
But
when you're doing 1,000 of them, you know, what if you have some issues? Like it's something that really takes a lot of time, and that's something that I can absolutely attest to.
Scaling is a challenge, and it's just one of those other things that, you know, although it may not be initially evident, okay, going from 1 to 10 to 100 to 1,000 to 10,000, you know, the numbers sound fun. You know, it sounds like, yeah, we got to do that. But it's a whole lot harder when you start getting to large numbers to make sure that you've got the quality control processes in place to make sure that you don't end up with a lot of substandard products.
Absolutely, and that's why, you know, I used to do some crazy designs, some really cool custom work, and the problem I had with that was just I wanted something that was just dedicated for the DynaVap and custom engineered. And to do that, I had to get away from doing those custom designs for a while and really focus on this.
Well, hopefully this is going to help get you going in that direction.
Yeah.
I see another question here. It's a really good one.
Yeah.
See, will this support 60 hertz, 240 volt mains? The answer is yes. Correct, Chris?
Yes.
The power supply, provided that you just have an adapter, can support, I think, anywhere from 110 all the way up to 250 volts.
I'll point out that wasn't the, I don't know if that was zoomed in, but that
Right.
wasn't the power supply.
So we've got the power supply here. I don't know if we can get a good shot on it, but it's all in the specifications on our website. But this one here, yeah, 100 to 240 volts, 50 to 60 hertz, 2 amp draw, 12 volt output. So this should work, provided that you have the correct adapter. No converter necessary, just the correct adapter, pretty much anywhere in the world.
And there's two easy options for that. One is just a prong adapter that takes the 3-prong grounded US plug to whatever domestic plug you have. The other is just to get a replacement IEC C13 cable. Some people call them kettle cords.
Right here, if you look here.
And they'll sell these with just about any plug on the end of it that you'd like.
So yes, you can get, this is IEC, which is the International Electrical Connector.
Yep. Is
that what that is?
That sounds,
makes sense to me.
Sounds good enough to me.
That's available with this on one end and nearly any other voltage style plug on the other.
Yeah.
So this power supply will handle all of them, so this device is therefore international.
Yes.
Very cool. All right. So, got a couple other questions here.
I see a good one about a car lighter adapter.
Okay.
And I'd like to point something out. You know, yes, these will run off of a 12-volt battery if you have a. It would need a separate adapter. And the problem that I typically see is that a lot of the car electrical systems aren't designed to push through the type of amperage.
Okay.
So you run the risk that you may blow a fuse or burn up some of your wiring. I would just really make sure that your car can handle that kind of amperage before you start playing around with it.
So it might work, but the main point is it's generally geared towards running off of a power supply.
Yes. Yes.
But the input on the back of the unit is a relatively standard 12-volt barrel plug.
Yep.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you use the supplied power supply, the likelihood that you're going to have problems is much, much lower.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we would encourage you to use that power supply and enjoy the use of the induction heater. Cool. So we've got a couple other fun announcements here. It looks like Dyna won a Hydrovong. Got a really cool one here that I grabbed on my way to do the broadcast today, made out of another wood that we've only made 2 of, just because I thought it'd be kind of cool. It's got kind of a little burl action going in there.
What is that?
I'm going to have to look carefully.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a hardwood burl. I think it might be a maple burl.
Yeah, it looks like kind of like a curly maple.
Yep, and I believe I've got an ebony mouthpiece on this one, so it's kind of a neat piece. And I thought, just for the heck of it, got this real cool kind of heat colorized stainless steel M-tip on it. So this should actually work really well in the induction heater. Holds the temperature a little bit nicer, heats up a little bit slower. Kind of a cool piece. And I see we've got one other Hydrovong winner, and I think we got a Lightwood one that we're going to give away. And that's going to Forest Sky. So for all of you, just please reach out to Coley@DynaVap.com, and we'll get all your contact information, and we'll get these things sent right away out to you, because it's just kind of fun. All right. So other than that, I want to thank everyone for watching today. It's really good. Please help us if you don't mind. Get the community question. Thank you, Ben. How are you spending your Labor Day weekend? It looks like most of you are going to be staying home. A few people doing family time and some outdoor activities, and a lot of comments about working. Are you going to be working this weekend, Chris?
I will spend some time working, but I'm definitely going to make some time for the family.
Yeah.
What about you, George?
I think I'll be doing some work as well.
Okay.
But something tells me that you're going to be working on induction heaters.
I've got a lot more to make.
Yep. And we got customers we got to take care of, right?
Absolutely.
I'm going to be working on some DynaVap related things because, as you can see, we've got a lot of things going on. We love bringing new products to you, and we also really go out of our way to make sure that we're bringing good quality products, and that takes a lot of effort. So again, thank you everyone for watching. Please subscribe, ring the bell, and we hope to have you tune in for us next time, which is going to be, I believe, September 12th at 6 p.m. Going to have some more cool information for you then. So hope to see you then. Thanks for watching. For more videos, click here or here, and don't forget to subscribe.